In the criminal justice system, the sexual crimes are considered especially heinous. In the state of New York, one elite task force gets to.
Title IX is responsible for protecting students from discrimination and harassment. Any institution, public or private, who receives federal funds has to abide by Title IX laws. Discrimination that is covered under Title IX includes sexual harassment, the failure to provide equal opportunity in athletics, discrimination in a school's STEM courses and programs, and discrimination based on pregnancy, orientation, and gender. Schools don't necessarily always follow these laws, as each year female athletes receive about $120 million less than male athletes in athletic scholarships. Also, in Jackson versus Birmingham Board of Education 2005, a school coach was fired for complaining about the unequal treatment of his girls' basketball team. He sued his school for retaliation under Title IX of the Education Amendments of 1972. This federal law prohibits sexual discrimination in under or by federally funded education programs. Schools also still provide cases of discrimination in the form of dress codes.
100 male and 100 female students were asked if they had ever been dress coded. Only 25% of the males said they had been dress coded, compared to 85% of the girls. Enforcing disciplinary action for dress code disrupts education, affecting the students and their classroom learning experiences. Teachers and administrators will force students to leave class because of their appearance and being too distracting. Particularly, this tends to apply to girls and the ever-famous no shoulders rule.
Hi, my name is Kaytlin Millikin, and this is my story of sexual discrimination. So first, I'm going to take you to Forney High School, my alma mater. I was dress coded so many times for unnecessary reasons. Here I would be just walking down the hall, minding my own business, and then I would be stopped by a male teacher who would then tell me, "I'm sorry, miss, but you need to button up because you're showing a little too much in this area." This is what I was wearing. Too much in that area? Okay. Then, another time, I was dress coded and sent to the office because my pants were too tight. Too tight. These were the pants I was wearing. They're literally baggy. However, girls having issues with dress code is not the only problem at FHS.
The boys at FHS also experience discrimination in the dress code. At Forney, boys are not allowed to wear nail polish, makeup, or have long hair. It specifically calls out the boys in the dress code.
But wait, doesn't that violate the Title IX law about sex stereotyping? Boys should be allowed to express themselves just like girls are allowed to. Additionally, hair length could be a cultural or religious attribute. Not only does this violate Title IX, we also see it directly fit into the dictionary.com definition of discrimination, making a distinction in favor or against a group, class, or category rather than on individual merit. By being aware of these signs of discrimination, educators can work to create a learning environment that acknowledges these internal and external discriminations, but strives to diminish them and ensure a classroom of equality.
Sexual harassment is unwanted sexual conduct, either in language or actions. Crude humor, sexual innuendos, and physically doing something to another person that they do not want done to them is sexual harassment. Many people don't even realize how commonplace sexual harassment is. Hollywood and the entertainment industry are good examples of this.
Look at this graph.
In the 2010-2011 school year, a survey was done over sexual harassment in a junior high and high school. 46% of the female population surveyed were victims, opposed to 22% of the males. Over half of the victims surveyed said that it happened more than once. In nearly all of the categories, girls are on the receiving end of sexual harassment more often than boys.
In a given school year, 58% of the 7th through 12th graders experience sexual harassment. 60% of high school boys find it acceptable to force sex on a girl in some circumstances. Only half of high school rape victims told anyone about it. And U.S. public schools recorded 4,200 sexual assaults.
The definition of rape culture, according to Google, is a society or environment whose prevailing social attitudes have the effect of normalizing or trivializing sexual assault and abuse. The ideas behind rape culture can be backed up by the actions and punishment of a Mr. Brock Turner. You know, the one that raped the unconscious girl behind a dumpster and only served 3 of his 9-month prison sentence. People were defending him with statements that he was a good person and a student athlete. They continued with statements of how this would ruin his future and career. However, he hurt his own future and career when he failed to get consent.
When will you learn? When will you learn that your actions have consequences?
Speaking of consent, that is something the girl that Brock Turner took advantage of could not give. Consent is when both parties willingly agree to sexual relations. Consent cannot be given if one or both parties is incapacitated in any way. Consent is not a maybe. It should not be unsure or hesitant. It should not be forced. Consent is also needed every time. As a great mind once said, consent is like a cup of tea. Look it up.
If you're still struggling with consent, just imagine instead of initiating sex, you're making them a cup of tea.
Does she look like she wants some tea? Nope. Miss, do you want tea? Nope.
Do you want some tea? Tea? Tea?
Do you want tea?
Do I want tea?
Tea?
No, I don't want tea. Please don't.
They're just like these nervous creatures that jump and slobber all over you. Ew! Get off of me! Ugh, as if!
A lunchtime survey of new students. Can you answer a few questions?
Okay.
Is your muffin buttered? What? Would you like us to assign someone to butter your muffin?
Hey, what? Is he bothering you?
Wait, what does that mean? Oh, no, I don't think that's appropriate for this kind of video. Even at ACU, we face the dangers of rape culture. In 2014, a student here sexually assaulted another student at a party, drugging and raping her. The victim never revealed her identity, and with good reason. People were angry that the Optimist had even done a report claiming that they were making the rapist look like a criminal, as if the act he had committed didn't make him a criminal. Rather than showing support for the victim, people were attacking the author of the article for trying to bring awareness to the issue of sexual assault at ACU.
Why?
However, some good did come of the article. After it was posted, the author said that other sexual assault victims on campus had come to her saying that it had given them the courage to speak up about what had happened to them. Especially in smaller institutions, victims tend to not speak up about their experiences because they're afraid of how they'll be treated. They're the ones who get treated like they did something terrible rather than the actual perpetrator.
This is why it's so important as future educators to facilitate an environment where we can encourage students who are victims of sexual assault and the rape culture of America. As teachers, we can help teach them that it's okay to speak up about their experiences. They shouldn't have to live in fear that people will retaliate for coming forward. We don't have to wait until then. Making ourselves available for even our peers is a way we can begin to do something now. This sexual discrimination needs to end, where victims are blamed for the crimes that were committed against them. We see people calling attention to these injustices all around us, as seen in the hashtag #MeToo movement. No more, they were asking for it. No more, this is gonna ruin his career. People need to take responsibility for their actions. It doesn't matter what they've achieved or where they're going. Boys will not be boys. Everyone will be held accountable for their actions against others.
Oh, sorry, I fell asleep while I was waiting on you to make me a sandwich.
Go back to sleep and starve.